All right, I'm back. So I wanted to cut in real fast just for this. I've actually already recorded the video. I recorded it a week or so ago. But over that time, I've just kind of thought about this Evoto thing. I really do like Evoto, and I've mentioned it already. I'm using it as a supplement. But here's the number one reason, aside from the other reasons that you're going to see in the rest of the video, why I can't replace Photoshop. My deliverable to my clients is I show them a proof gallery. And to show them a proof gallery, I'm exporting the photos that I'm going to show them in the gallery. And they get to make their selections. And sometimes that's 100, sometimes that's 150. And if I only get 800 exports a month through Evoto, it makes no sense for me to switch everything and go to Evoto because I'm going to run out very fast. And so, because of my deliverables, because of what I actually show to my clients, there's no way I can ever make Evoto the sole thing that I use. So, at this time, I'm only using it to supplement what I do. I think it's fantastic. I think it's got a lot going for it, but I can't make it be my only way to edit just because of what I've delivered to my clients for the last 6 years. And maybe that changes over the time, but if I was one of the photographers that only like I look at the photos and I'm going to deliver and show them what I want them to see and it's only like 10 images, that's different. But that's not how I do my business. I do my business where I shoot the session, I come back, I call, I bring them in, I export them as JPEGs, and then I submit them into a gallery. And because of that export function through Evoto, every time I export from any session that I do, I'm going to be knocking that 800 down really fast. And so I can't switch to Evoto. So I just want to break in real fast and tell you that. I didn't want to set up everything just for this. So, all right, back to the regularly scheduled program of why I can't fully switch. All right. In this video, I want to kind of talk about some of the things that maybe aren't my favorite things about a photo. And the first one being the credits, the credits of what it actually takes. So, um, and that kind of all ties together with the fact that you have to be online to use the software. You can't. It's all cloud based, but a lot of the software is all cloud based now, anyways. But you have to have access to the internet at the time you're using the software. Whereas I can use Adobe on a plane, without wireless, without Wi-Fi or anything like that. But I can't use Evoto. So you have to have internet connection to be able to use it. Um, the fact that you get a certain amount of exports per pricing package. I know that they have to figure out a way to do all that. I just don't know that I'm necessarily a fan. It would be cool if there was some type of an unlimited plan. I don't know. Um, I'm scrolling through their stuff. I don't feel like there's photo editing volume, full access, whatever. But their biggest one here is 24,000 credits for a year. And that's pretty good, but if you're a big volume photographer, you might actually bump over that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Um, I think what I would probably, if I was to really go away from Adobe altogether, I think I could probably get away with this one. I might have to go with this one. This one is $520 for the year or $44 a month. And that's 9,000 credits over the course of a year. And that would be really tight for me. I think that would be really tight for me. And so I don't know if I would want to make that full-on jump over to 100, because at $43 a month, and again, it's not a month because they charge you all upfront at one time. It just kind of is what it breaks down to. At that, I feel like I'm still probably tied to Adobe for my work. And so now I'm paying, we're going to call it $50 plus whatever it is that I'm having to pay for Adobe. And so maybe I didn't double it, but I'm paying for another piece of software that that I need. And so it's at that point, if you're at that point, the standard plan 9,000 is what I'm talking about. That's like either jump all the way in with Evoto and get rid of Adobe, or maybe go back a tier. I feel like I could easily work with the basic plus plan of 3,600 credits over the course of a year at $20 a month, breaking it down, and still use Adobe and be okay with that, because I don't think I'm going to be able to get rid of Adobe. I'm too tied to it. But so that's kind of the negative, and I don't know that there's a better option. I honestly don't, but that's just kind of how I see it. I'm not a big fan of the whole credit system. Um, that's just me. Okay, so one of the things that uh, I wish that it could do, maybe Evoto, if you're listening, if you're watching, one of the things that I wish it could do is, like I said, I'm still tied to Photoshop or Adobe for a couple things. I use Bridge to kind of cull, and they've got a new culling platform and all that kind of stuff. So I need to test that out. I cannot import raw photos into Evoto with my raw edits applied already. So what do I mean is, if I go into Bridge and I have a photo, let's just jump into this one, and it's raw, and this little symbol right here means I've made edits to it. So if I go up into raw, camera raw, I've already made edits to it. I've made edits the way that I want. If I go into, let's see, that's Abigail number 3. So if I go into Adobe and I want to import that photo, when I pull it in, it does not have those edits. So now I have to come in and redo the color edits. And I'm not a fan of that. I would love, again, I mentioned before, I've got one foot in either camp right now. And really the one foot that's in the Evoto camp is like a tiptoe in there. I'm still fully integrated into Adobe. And I think a lot of people are like that because they're testing out Evoto. Evoto has been around for a minute, but they haven't built up that big brand trust yet. And so, man, it would be great if Evoto could pull in camera raw edits from any other software that people are currently using. So that's one thing that I would do. That's one thing. That's one reason why I haven't like fully started jumping into it, because and again, it's changed. I know how I like to do my initial edits in Camera Raw, and the same with people probably using Lightroom. So they're making all of their initial edits and they do all that kind of stuff. There's just a couple I just don't care for the profiles that we have, and then having to go in and making my adjustments. I'm just not a big fan of it yet. Um, I just not. It's not my favorite thing. I really wish it could be a little bit better. Um, I really wish it could just bring in edits that I've already made through Camera Raw into here, import those. I think if they did that, I would easily be able to start um, working more in Evoto. It would definitely get my money more monthly, because then I could make my adjustments, initial adjustments, and then jump into Evoto with my edits. I'm just not sold on the color adjustments yet. I think that's my big drawback. Um, so because I can't pull in raw files like that, it limits my work in another way. And this is the other negative that I have, is really, so my workflow right now is I make my edits in raw. I pull them into Photoshop, I save them as a JPEG, and then I go to Evoto and I import the JPEG because I don't like the color adjustments for my workflow in Evoto yet. They're good. And again, I'm used to the ones in Camera Raw, which is probably why I don't like the ones in Evoto, but it's limiting my access to Evoto. So now, instead of being able to get access for the full raw image, I'm having to edit a JPEG. And I'm not a fan of that. I would rather edit the raw image initially, go right into a PSD or the larger file. I just don't want to edit a compressed JPEG already. So those are my three big issues right now with Evoto. One, I'm not, and the first one is really not a big issue. It's just whatever their issue is as far as their tiers go and how many photos you actually get and stuff like that. So I don't know that there's a way to even change that. But the other two, I think there definitely is a way. I would love to see their color adjustment tool just continue to grow and get better. At least for me, I'm still not comfortable making adjustments to my colors in Evoto. So I can't really import the RAWs the way I would want to. And so then that means I basically have to import JPEGs and then export JPEGs. So it's 3, but it's kind of like 2. But that's really it. Like, so far, the user interface has been fantastic. It's really easy to learn, like super easy to learn. If you are starting off in your photography journey and you don't use Photoshop yet, don't even buy Photoshop. Like, that's what I would say. Go straight to this and learn it this way. And maybe that's probably one of my issues is I already have 24 years of knowledge in the Adobe world. And then going into this, it's again, it's changing my brain, and I don't think that's a bad thing. It's trying to learn and adapt. But if you're starting off and if you haven't fully bought into Adobe yet, man, don't go right into this. I think it's fantastic. The user interface is so easy. Like my brother, he started photography maybe 5 years ago. If this was there 5 years ago, I would have said, go right into Evoto. Don't even think about using Photoshop because he had a hard time learning Photoshop. And this is so much easier, in my opinion, just so much more user friendly. I don't think that Photoshop and Adobe is going away. I think they're here to stay. I think they're going to have to adapt and they're going to have to actually start creating some features very similar if they want to continue to compete with up and comers like Evoto, because some of this stuff is just mind blowing how good it actually is. So that's really all I've got for this one. So I did like a 30-minute last one and then a 12-minute this time. So again, thank you so much for watching. I really have enjoyed using the software. It's changing the way I'm doing it. I just need to adapt to it a little bit more. And they're constantly updating it. It really is truly amazing what they have and where they started, where they are now. And so Evoto, thank you again. I really do appreciate it. The last one was sponsored. This one was not. But we'll see. I would love to continue working with Evoto. Maybe get some more editing videos for you through Evoto on the channel. But we'll have to see what Evoto and I can work out on that. So thank you again for watching. Hopefully you made it this far. If you like what you see, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications for every time I post videos. Follow me on Instagram, j.allen_photographer. And until next time, keep shooting. Later.